For the last 50 years, anime has become vastly more accessible to much wider audiences all across the world. The introduction and rise of streaming platforms like Netflix, Crunchyroll, and Funimation, combined with an aging generation that has incredible influence and purchasing power, and you end up with a much different perspective on the medium than there used to be. But in this time of rapid growth, how much has the medium changed itself? Has this change been only because of the rise of technology, or has the content of anime itself seen a rapid shift to appeal to more mature audiences? How much truth is there to past perceptions of anime, and is there any way of changing someone's past perception of it to the one that we know now today? The year is 1990. At this time, Cheers topped the ratings with Roseanne, 60 Minutes, and The Cosby Show following close behind. At this time, Pokemon still had 7 years before it would be created, and it would be another 2 years before a magazine by the name of Shonen Jump would publish a series called Naruto for the first time. During this time, a new series would become adapted by a man who had just quit his job and relied on his mother to cover all of his living expenses. He had just had his first break with the publication of a manga which quickly became adapted into an anime due to its success called Dr. Slump. This was a huge success, but it would be a publication of a 2-part series called Dragon Boy, which would change his life forever. This man was Akira Toriyama. Dr. Slump made him a quick household name, but it would be this new series that would begin establishing his status as one of the most legendary artists of all time, with his new manga and upcoming anime adaptation now titled Dragon Ball. It's likely that you've heard of this name before, as Dragon Ball would go on to become one of the most successful publications of all time. Even to this day, it is still topping charts on platforms like Netflix. Dragon Ball is no doubt one of the most influential manga and anime ever created. The widespread success of Akira Toriyama's art sparked something in the world. It gave an entire generation a new form of storytelling and art that they had never seen before. So if Dragon Ball was the entry point for the world of anime, then what comes next? Released in 1997, Perfect Blue would premiere for the first time at the Fantasia Film Festival in Montreal, Canada. Its public release would come later in February of 1998 in Japan, then later to US theaters. Perfect Blue was unlike anything that had been seen in anime before, and if you've seen this film, then you know what I'm talking about. Perfect Blue is a psychological thriller from the mind of the late Satoshi Kon. This was his debut film, which followed the character Mima, an idol who decided to retire from her life of music to pursue a new career in acting. But it is through this new pursuit of acting that we begin to see a story so ahead of its time, it is truly unnerving. At the time that this was released, the world of social media that we know today did not exist. There was no Facebook, no YouTube, and it would still be 5 years before the release of MySpace. Throughout the film, we see the struggle of Mima dealing with this stalker while trying to make a name for herself as an actress. This acting career does not come easy either. She begins to lose sight of herself beyond her performances, as we see the film begin to mix these with reality. Though it is not just this stalker that Mima must deal with, as her very own agent Rumi may have been the one pulling the strings behind the stalker the entire time. One of the things I love most about this movie is that it leaves many aspects of it up for interpretation. When it released, Perfect Blue quickly became a major inspiration for Hollywood, including director Darren Aronofsky, who cites Kon heavily as an inspiration for his own films, Requiem for a Dream and Black Swan, where some of the scenes he even replicated shot for shot from Kon's own films. As Perfect Blue continued to gain more international recognition, its existence alone was proof that anime could be just as thought-provoking as any live-action film. This later led to others like Ghost in the Shell and Paprika, also by Kon, following suit. All of these films further cemented that anime was not only a form of entertainment for a mass audience, but also an incredible art form to tell complex stories in painstaking detail.
One of the most interesting, most highly stylized anime series we have yet been able to bring you. We have been in search of this series for 2 years. We have been trying to convince the distributor to let us have a crack at it, but until now, they were unwilling. Well, finally, they have come through and allowed us to show this to you. And that means this is its first time ever on television in the United States of America.
So if you decided to click on this video and you have never watched anime before, or if you know someone that you've been trying to put on anime for a while and they still haven't budged, my best recommendation is to just find something with a theme that you or they already enjoy. As you've seen here, anime is something that can be targeted and impactful towards younger audiences, and also in the same amount be complex and inspiring to an older generation. But even more importantly, this is not something that has happened recently. This media has existed for over 30 years. Anime is more mainstream today than it has ever been. This is why I believe that now is as good a time as ever to give these groundbreaking pieces of art like Perfect Blue a shot. Just because something is animated should not give it any less value. If anything, you might end up enjoying it and leaving with more of an appreciation than you have had with anything live action before. Or you might not. You might watch anime and hate it. But let me ask you this. When you watch a bad movie or a TV show that's live action, do you walk away saying to yourself, I am never watching another movie again? Or do you just simply say, man, that was a bad movie, or that was a bad TV show? I believe the same approach needs to be taken to anime, and less generalizations should be brought against it as a whole. But anyway, the fact is that animated forms of media are only going to continue to grow, and not giving something a fair chance just because it looks weird could lead you to miss out on your next favorite show, movie, or even more importantly, you could stumble onto something that changes your perspective on something in a way that you had never seen be done before. Thanks again for watching. All of your support on these videos really means a lot to me, so I appreciate it. If you enjoyed this one, then please subscribe. If you hated it, then maybe try one of these other videos out. I hope to see you in the next one either way though. So, thanks again.